everybody. Welcome into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone, Rob Watson. Fellas, it is, I don't have the date up on this shot, so actually I don't know what the date is. I'll have to look at my phone. It is Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. It is an absolutely electric Wednesday. Big show for a lot of people. Maybe not the people you thought, Jack. You were saying Jalen Milroe, CJ Kafis, Logan Allen.
Let me read off my tweet.
You guys aren't going to get that type of content anywhere else. Nobody's talking about CJ Kafis at 10:06 in the morning. It's not happening anywhere except a Big Factor, guys. So this is where you tune in. Before we dive into the stuff today, how are we doing today?
Bit of a rough morning for me, to be honest. I was in a little bit of the tummy troubles. For those who don't know, I'm a member of the Crohn's disease community with Cedric Mullins, my dog. So yeah, a bit of a rough morning for me. Honestly, wasn't quite sure if I was going to make it in or not. I believe I actually sent out the not going to be there text, but listen to Miracle, the Herb Brooks, Put Your Gear On, and next thing you know, I'm sitting here, so we're good to go.
Rob, what's up, man?
I mean, just hearing that would have been really soft if you didn't come in today. So
that's why I'm here, baby.
I'm glad you made it, man. I'm doing great this morning. Easy commute in. They got rid of the construction on my exit, so it was smooth today.
Nick, what's up, dude?
Yeah, you gotta love the good old downtown Cleveland 1 day worth of road work, and then now for the rest of time, that exit, I know exactly what you're talking about, will just be like a skate park ramp every time I take my car through it. So gotta love it.
Well, I'm glad everybody was able to make it in. Nick, I'm glad you're able to join us via remote, via StreamYard. All right, guys, we start here. This is a huge day for Jack. You couldn't have missed today even if you woke up and you were missing a limb, because Logan Allen absolutely dealt on the mound yesterday. 5 2/3 inning pitch, 2 hits, 2 walks, 6 Ks. And Jack, that's pretty damn close to your exact stat line that you said you wanted for your birthday.
Was it not?
All aboard the LTA train.
See, I was actually going to say that out loud, but I thought I was going to sound like a loser if I said that, so I'm really happy that you said it and I didn't have to. But yeah, no, that is pretty damn close to what I was predicting out of the kid. And man, like, we talked about it yesterday on the show, but I'm going to run it back again today. The kid had a pretty good year in 2023, his first time in the major leagues. Yeah, he came out, got roughed around a little bit last year. He's had issues the first and second time he was up, at a lot of stops in his career. First time he was in Columbus, he looked awful at the end of 2023. Starts there in 2024, or 2022 rather, did awesome in 2023. Like, that's just how it goes sometimes, man. The things that I love about Logan Allen, though, because yeah, I mean, there were still a couple balls that were hit a little bit hard, that we made some nice plays in the field, but overall, the batted barrel velocity on general is going down for him. It's getting back closer to what it was 2 years ago, which means they're not quite hitting him as hard around the field. That's the biggest sign. And again, like we talk about with Logan Allen, it's always going to start with, can you throw a strike within the first 2 pitches of the at-bat? And he did.
Yeah, we talking about guys. We talked about him yesterday, guys. Angie Martinez goes 3 for 4. He's now hitting .571 on the season. And it is still a small sample size, but I think it's enough to hope that this isn't just a good start, but a sign of things to come for a guy who looks to hold a spot in this roster for the Cleveland Guardians.
I mean, what more could you ask for than when you have a kid who comes out, has a really rough spring, to be able to say, hey, like, you're going to come up here and you're not going back down right away. Like, if you can find a way to get your spot on the roster and keep it, like, that's what you're asking for out of Angie this time up. And now it gives you that option, because you're starting to cut into that depth of, like, we don't have as many Schneemans playing every day, if that makes sense. Sorry, Daniel Schneeman, for coming at you for that one right there. But, like, now you're going to have that option of, like, okay, you have a guy in the outfield needs a day down. You can play Angie, or hell, Angie might even be the starting outfielder from now on. Who knows? Or same thing on the infield, because, man, like, you know I'm a Brian Rocchio guy, but wasn't quite Brian Rocchio's night.
You know, we talked a lot about what this outfield could look like if Kwan hit 20 home runs this season. And I got to think he's on pace now. Mashed again last night. 3 home runs. He leads the team, tied for the lead, I should say, with 11 RBIs with Kyle Manzardo. Speaking of Kyle Manzardo, Nick, you woke up a little bit angry at Kyle Manzardo.
I cashed out last night. I'm surprised that the app allowed me to cash it out, because it was looking like the Guardians bullpen, you know, Cade Smith was kind of getting hit up a little bit, and then they turned it over to Clase, and Manzardo didn't get a hit. But on a $5 bet that was set to pay out like 110, they let me cash it out for 50. And I did right before Manzardo stepped to the plate. So when you find $50 on the ground, boys, you pick it up. And I didn't have a great feeling that Manzardo was going to get a hit in that last at bat, which turned to be the last at bat for the Guards in the game. He did not. So no ill will for me against Kyle Manzardo, even though right now, I mean, started out the season tremendous, sliding a little bit here though in terms of what's going on at the dish.
I think he's 1 for his last 21, right? Or so it's right around that mark, I believe.
Yeah,
currently.
so going into yesterday, it was like 1 for his last 16 or 17. So I figured that something had to shake loose, and it did not.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you got to make sure that, and then again, Nick is not, but because I saw a little bit of talk on Guardians Twitter last night already about the, like a CJ. So we're gonna talk about CJ Kafis today in a much different lens, but I saw some CJ Kafis talk in some wild places that you should never even go on the internet. Like we're talking the darkest webs of Twitter. Calm down about Kyle Manzardo. Ryan, you've talked about it a couple of times now, and you're so right. The thing about Kyle Manzardo that I love so far, not even that he's hitting lefties or that he's knocked a couple home runs, it's that he's getting on base, he's walking, so that way, even when he is having these slumps a little bit, he's still finding a way to contribute. And you know what? Hey, a walk is just as good as a single, man.
And that's exactly the formula to becoming an everyday player. When you're drawing walks as well, they just can't take you out of the lineup. The thing I love about this show, too, now that Rob's back in town, so happy to have you back here, is, Jack, we talk about how you're kind of getting into basketball this year a lot. Rob, you're starting to get a baseball. We were talking about
hockey.
A little pre-show. Like last year, you were the David Fry guy. Every time, like you called it, you were on David Fry before. We were talking this morning. You're a big Ellie De La Cruz fan. Who's your favorite Guardians player now that it could still be David Fry, but now that he's out, who's your favorite Guardians player?
Favorite player with Fry out? That's tough, man. That's really my dude.
He is your dude.
Don't back off him. That's been your
my
guy since the start,
man.
He wants
me to pick someone else though, since he's not playing. I would go with Arias.
Arias, we're a pretty big Arias show, I feel like.
There's just a thing about him though, man, is like, could you imagine if he could pull anything against the left-handed pitcher? He would literally be Barry Bonds. Like if he was a right-handed hitter that could simply hit left-handed pitching, I mean the things that man could do, because like you see his oppo power against righties sometimes, it's ridiculous. Like how many guys in the major leagues can walk up there with a stick and just knock it 430 oppo? Not many, and certainly not many who play infield in Cleveland, Ohio. So man, you give that kid as many chances as he needs.
Hey, Guardians now 9-7, second in the AL Central, just behind the Detroit Tigers. Jack, let's talk about it. CJ Kafis batting .472, 17 for 36, 1 home run, 7 RBIs. This is your dude.
I mean, I got a lot of dudes, but he's climbing up the list of dudes real quick. Had an awesome year last year in Akron. Started out in Lake County. Was like a big part of them winning the first half title in the Midwest League before he moved up to Akron. Crushed the ball last year, and they're like, you know what? Hey, we're gonna start you down in Akron just because. Why the hell not? We'll let Micah Prize get some reps up at first base in Columbus because Micah Prize sounds like a good dude from everything I've heard about him. So CJ Kafis starts off the year in Akron, mashing the ball so far. Average just dropped below 500 for the first time all season. I know it's only 9 games, but it is pretty damn impressive. He's going to be up in Columbus real soon, and there's rumors that he's been working on the corner outfields as well. So I don't know, man. He's got some real pop in his bat. He's had a career above 800 OPS in the minor leagues, which means like not only is he likely hitting a decent amount of home runs, he's probably driving the ball to the gaps, or dare I say even walking a little bit. And hey, if he gets hot, has a good like first, I don't know, 40 games in Columbus, you might see him up here by the time Nick's back in the ballpark.
So I was going to ask you that. Who makes their major league debut first, Bazana or Kafis?
In my opinion,
Yeah.
CJ Kafis. Just because like what CJ Kafis is like he's in the 3rd trimester of his grad school program in Akron right now. Like he's just hanging out, playing some die with the fellas, going to class twice a week. Like CJ Kafis is just in Akron to have a good time right now. He's all on the way to Columbus, and man, he'll have a straight shot to the majors. Bazana, you still got to see a little bit more from him in Akron before you even consider getting him up to the IL League.
All right, talk some Parker Messick to me, Jack. 2 games started, 9 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 1.11 whip.
I mean, I'm a Doug Nikhazy guy, and I think that Doug Nikhazy is going to make an awesome impact on this rotation or as a long guy at some point this season. But Parker Messick, a little bit of a bigger dude, not like a big dude, but he's got a little bit of size on him, a bit more of like a Haas type of build, like a Gavin Williams. Like, yeah, he can just blow one by you from time to time. Another lefty starting pitcher, and one thing that we've struggled to find really since Cliff Lee, when he left in 2009, was a consistent left-handed starting pitcher who was going to be a staple for more than 1 year, and we haven't found that since. So between Nikhazy, Logan Allen, maybe even Will Dion, Parker Messick, I would love to see one of these guys break through and really just establish like a nice, even like a 3 to 4 year role as a lefty in our rotation 4 or 5 guy.
All right, Guardians play today, 6:35, first pitch at Baltimore again. Gavin Williams on the mound for us, Dean Kremer on the mound for them. Gavin Williams, 1-0 this season, 3.46 ERA. What are we looking for out of Gavin Williams today?
Throwing strikes. I think that's the biggest thing with Gavin. It's not only just throwing strikes. It's that when you're throwing strikes, you're trying to get a little bit of whiff to or a little bit more of a miss on bats. It's not that like we talked about Emmanuel Clase not being able to miss bats. Those ones are ending up in the gaps. Gavin Williams, they're ending up down the first base line, but still as a starter, that pitch count eats more and more. And it's not a question of if Gavin Williams can go out and give you 3 earned anytime he's out there. It's when will he develop into that going to give you 6 innings and just 3 runs or 6 2/3. Like he's a guy who you took in the first round, very high thoughts for him. Like you want to see him start to develop more towards that A, B of the rotation than just giving you 5 and 3.
Nick, you making a parlay today?
Yeah, man. I already put one together just for like the day games. Just like 3 money line bets.
What was your parlay yesterday? What were the other legs that hit?
Let me pull this up. I was in the lab. All right, so this morning we've got the Braves against Toronto, we've got the Brewers against Detroit, and we got Houston against, wouldn't you know it, the St. Louis Cardinals. Last night I had Yankees money line as a straight in my parlay, and then a 6-leg same game parlay for the Guards that had a no-run first inning hit, Guardians money line hit, Jose hit, Quan hit, Logan Allen 3 strikeouts hit, Manzardo didn't get a hit. $5.47 was set to pay like 110. I ended up cashing out for 50.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I hope it hits today. All right, we got to take our first break. When we get back.
One last bet. One last
please,
bet.
please, please.
No, don't actually, just a joke. Do not take this, but Spencer Strider,
PJ Tucker threes?
kind of. Spencer Strider making his first start of the season. You never know what you're going to get out there. And one of the guys who is slowly climbing the MVP race in the AL was at plus 20,000 as of yesterday. He's actually on all the sports books, is our old friend, Kilometer Miles Straw. Right? Bang. Tonight's the night.
That might be better odds than the PJ Tucker threes.
One night only.
Speaking of odds,
One season only. Miles
I know
Straw.
we're doing
5 cents wins you a yacht.
I know we're doing NFL draft a little bit later. You guys see they put odds up for the Browns to draft Shador and Travis both.
Wow, really?
What are they? What are we sitting at?
12-1.
They're
That's
just, trying
not
to
Worse.
steal
Could
money.
be worse.
That could be worse.
Yeah,
all right.
it feels like bait.
Yeah, no, that is not clickbait. That's bet bait.
That is bet bait. I saw I think it was DraftKings. They did a 42% profit boost in honor of Jackie Robinson Day. And Twitter was having a field day with it. All right, we got to take a break. When we get back, we're flipping it over to basketball to play in. Magic, they beat the Hawks. Warriors, they beat the Grizzlies. Jimmy and Steph Curry combined for 75. We'll break that down when we get back on the Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan, Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone, Rob Watson. We're flipping it over to basketball, but before we do that, I got to tell you about our great friends at Fairway Ford. Fairway Ford is the biggest Ford truck dealership in the entire state of Ohio. They have the largest selection of Ford F-150s and Super Duty trucks, and you can see every month is Truck Month at Fairway Ford. Up to $8,000 off your new ride, as low as 1.9% APRs. You can't beat it, so do not let a short drive to Canfield, Ohio prevent you from saving thousands, yes, thousands of dollars off of your new ride. Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, the lowest pricing and same hometown level of service. Go visit them at their website, fairwayfordohio.com, or scan that QR code. Again, that's fairwayfordohio.com. All right, guys, we're flipping it over to the NBA. The play-in tournament is ongoing. The Orlando Magic, they dominate the Atlanta Hawks 120-95.
Orlando Magic.
And I think that was a show pick here. I think we all picked the Magic to beat them. Cole Anthony leads the Magic 26 points. Trae Young 28 points and a crash out. Not enough to beat the Orlando Magic.
Can we start there before we get into the games? Because there's just nothing. The way he threw the ball at that referee was like, I got my ass kicked by my little brother in basketball a lot growing up, playing outside in the backyard. Like, that's the classic, like, you're getting your ass kicked, you check up way too hard, but he did it to a referee in an NBA game. That might be the most cool thing ever.
I mean, that was just super unprofessional, but in a weird way, I kind of liked it. Like, he knew the game was over. He throws it through someone's legs, hits the floater. He's like, man, like, I'm too good for this. My team's just not performing. He's just trying to stand everyone up.
All right, dude, go ahead, Nick.
It's probably time for Atlanta and Trae Young to go their separate ways. And I'm not sure what suitors he would really have. I'm not sure really what Atlanta is doing as an organization, and why they traded DeAndre Hunter and more at the deadline. But it's probably time to embrace the future. I don't think Trae Young is a bad player. I think Trae Young is just a bad player on the Atlanta Hawks.
How about George Niang, 15 points off the bench for the Hawks?
Someone's got to show up. Shout out to the minivan.
I guess, man.
Karis LeVert had 7.
Did not, on me, guys, on me.
The wheels spun, guys, and it did not land on Michael Jordan for Karis LeVert last night. So
No.
you got what you got. You got what you got, man.
All right, Rob. Now the Magic, they will play the Celtics. How many games does that go?
Celtics in 4.
You think Celtics in 4?
Celtics
Not even
in
one
4.
for Paolo at home?
I mean, Paolo played okay yesterday, but the Magic, the Hawks are so bad defensively that they let the Orlando Magic score 120 points. And that happened with them going like 6 minutes without scoring in the third. And the Celtics are going to murder the Magic. It's not going to be close. Paolo's he's going to get like 20, you're going to get the nice performances from Franz, but I mean, you're relying on Corey Joseph to hit the big shots. Like, they're loading up to these guys. It's not going to be good.
So let me ask you, Rob. If they shoot 11 for 39 behind the arc against the Boston Celtics, obviously they're not going to be there very long. How many games are they losing by 20 points if they're shooting like that from behind the arc?
I think the Orlando Magic can give them like one good game where it'll be like a 5-point game, or it'll be like it's a toss up in like game 3 or 4. But I honestly think they'll probably get blown out 3 times, 20 balls, easy.
All right, well, Golden State, they win 121-116. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies, Jimmy and Steph Curry combined for 75. Now they will play the Rockets in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Are the Warriors real? Do they have a shot? Let me put it this way. Do they have a shot at the championship?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you can't say no right now. I mean, especially when I can't steal too much from these guys. They're the basketball knowers in the room. I am not, but we talked about it. Like, the inexperience of the Rockets coming into the playoffs. Like, if there's a guy who's been there and done it, it's probably going to be Steve Kerr and Steph Curry in the NBA up there with LeBron for, they can get there and you know what they can do when they get there. I know it's been a couple of years since they've been in the finals, but man, like, you got to take the odds on that, right? Playoff Jimmy, too, is so back. We love Jimmy Butler on the show.
Warriors in 6.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an unfortunate ending for the Houston Rockets, who put together a great season, and I truly believe are a very good, young, talented basketball team. Like, this whole segment kind of feels like no slight to the Houston Rockets whatsoever, but the Warriors are, battle tested, championship tested. Even though Jimmy Butler doesn't have a ring yet, he's been to the finals. Like, this has Golden State advancing in the Western Conference playoffs written all over it to me.
All right, now we go to the 9th and 10th seed games tonight. Heat versus Bulls for the East. Who we got?
Heat.
Probably
Heat
the
culture.
Heat.
Give me the Heat.
And then the West, Mavericks versus Kings.
Kings, easy.
Kings, yeah.
Someone's got to win.
The Kings. Take the Kings and the points.
And then if you wanted to bet players, DeMar DeRozan is a monster in every just play-in tournament. I would take him 25 plus, or if you're feeling spicy, 30. He's gonna go crazy.
All right, let's live in a world where we assume the Miami Heat win. Now they'll play the Hawks, and the winner of that will obviously play our Cleveland Cavaliers. Who do we want to see in that first round? The Hawks, or the Heat?
Hawks.
Like, who would you rather play, or who's the tougher team?
Who would you rather play to advance?
Hawks.
Yeah.
Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Even though
I
they're 1
feel
and
like
2.
Bam's healthy, right?
Either of these teams, again, this is a waste of breath. If the Cavs are worth a lick, and we all think that they are, this shouldn't matter. It should be Cavs in 4 or 5 either way.
Agreed.
All right, Rob, you weren't here on yesterday's show, but we were going through NBA awards. Okay. MVP. Who's your MVP?
They're gonna give it to Shea, but I would choose Jokic.
who's your defense player of the year?
Dyson Daniels.
No Mobley.
Nah, Dyson Daniels is averaging like 3 steals a game. As a
Get
guard,
outta
it's
here.
hard to win it as a guard, but I really
Get
think
out of
he
here.
put together a
Stop
crazy season.
it. That's slanderous.
Stop. You need
Stop
some
it.
help.
I'm being honest, man. I would give it to Daniels.
What impact has those 3 steals made on the Atlanta Hawks?
I mean, I'm also the person I hate basing the awards based off the team wins. So that's why I just said
True.
Jokic over Shea. I like to just give it based on the player that's performing the best. You know, I would like it's gonna be Draymond Green probably if I had to guess who's gonna actually win it, and I don't think he deserves it over those 2. But
All right, 6 man.
I would personally tie Jerome, but they're gonna probably give it to Peyton Pritchard.
He's he didn't hit the new game restriction in the NBA. So that's why Ty Jerome can't win, which is
nasty.
stupid. Is it
Nasty.
65 games?
I think so, yeah.
Arbitrary number.
So then Peyton Pritchard,
And head coach of the year.
Ime
gotta be-
Udoka.
What? Over Kenny?
We were a good team last year. Udoka went out there and he turned the whole team around. The Rockets were picking in the lottery last year.
So
Now
did
they're a 2
JB with
seed.
worse guys.
Yeah, but the Pistons are a 6 seed. Biggest improvement, Houston Rockets. Give it to Ime Udoka.
All right, fair enough. Well, we'll find out soon enough. All right, we're going to take a break. We're flipping it over to the NFL. Travis Hunter says he will only play for a team that lets him play both ways. How will that affect his draft stock, if at all? And Jack, you have 2 new quarterbacks that you want to talk about.
I had a long talk with Nick yesterday about the quarterbacks in this draft class, and I think there's 2 we have eyes on. Who not saying they're the future, but we're more open to them than we were before.
All right, well, we'll find out who that is when we get back on the Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan, Tyler, Jack Orrick, Nick Pannone, Rob Watson. Thanks for the clap in, fellas. Before we talk about the NFL, I got to tell you about Garage Beer. Garage Beer comes in just 2 flavors you can see up at the top, classic light lager as well as classic lime beer. No frills, no bitterness, none of that IPA taste. It's just beer-flavored beer. You can scan that QR code or visit their website at drinkgaragebeer.com to find local retailers who sell garage beer near you. Again, that's drinkgaragebeer.com. All right, guys, flipping over to the NFL news yesterday, Travis Hunter comes out and says that he won't play for a team that won't let him play both ways. Will that affect his draft stock? Probably not, but it's an interesting note because when you talk about generational players, well, you're talking about what makes him generational, and that's the fact that he can play both ways. Nick, your reaction when you saw him come out and say this, and do you think that affects anybody who wants to draft him?
No, because this isn't really new information. I think he's made himself incredibly clear throughout the entire process that he wants to play both sides of the football. And I think that every team that's looking at him understands that that's a desire that he has. Travis Hunter himself said that this, has come up in meetings and hasn't been a detractor at all to any teams that are interested. And really, I don't think like assuming that he is the pick number 2 overall to the Cleveland Browns, I don't think that it's going to be a problem. I couldn't believe, there were some people last night and this morning tweeting at me who were like appalled and calling him a diva. Like, guys, you have to remember the Browns are in a little bit of a stage right now where they're trying to reestablish a culture. Their $230 million quarterback quit in the middle of a game last year. Do you guys remember that when he pretty much took the helmet off and walked off the field against the Washington Commanders? And you're going to be mad that there's a guy that wants to play every single snap on both sides of the ball because he's that obsessed with the game of football and he wants to win that bad that he wants to play every single snap. You're not going to catch me being mad or upset about that at all. I love that he has that passion and that fire. I think as a rookie, especially in Cleveland. He could contribute on 100% of the offensive snaps and maybe 10 to 15 to 20% of defensive snaps. So he could get a little bit of both. I don't understand the outrage that I saw yesterday about this.
When I think of a guy that's going to play both ways, at first thought, it seems like it would, one, be more feasible if you're a full-time defensive back and then you get design plays offensively. I don't know exactly how that would work. I mean, but that's the difference. Is because what did Andrew Berry say about Travis Hunter? He views him as a wide receiver.
How tall is he?
6'2", I think.
6'2". Because this is dumb, but I'm trying to think of like the ways you could sneak him in like in a similar manner. Like if you're doing just packages, like would he be? I don't know. Is he properly sized to play nickel at all in the NFL? Like would that ever be a possibility?
I think he's more
Yeah.
of a boundary.
More boundary.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
'Cause
more
I
of
was
a
just trying to
boundary
think, like,
corner,
you could
but
throw him in if you needed to as a nickel. Like that could be like your package for him or whatever.
And that's probably that's probably like, I don't want to call it the easiest way, but that is a potential path to at least ease him in to some packages where you could have Denzel and Greg or Denzel and Emerson kind of on the boundaries and then just have Travis Hunter floating around defensively. Like there are ways that they could do it. So I'm not, and especially when you have a seasoned peppered, defensive coordinator like Jim Schwartz, like it's not like this we have somebody who this is their first time coaching and that they're going to try to have to figure out how to make this happen. Like, again, I don't understand the outrage. I don't think as a young player, Travis Hunter's, in his early 20s, this doesn't matter at all. Maybe when you start looking at that second contract, then the question comes up of how long can he continue to do it or do it at a high level? And maybe that's where the debate kicks in. But for me, like as a rookie, when you're looking at a team like the Cleveland Browns that have holes in more than one places, and that's why you're not taking a quarterback anyway, you might as well get one player that could do two things.
You got to try it too. Like you got to give him a shot. I don't see how you pick a guy like this who has this skill set and these capabilities and such a high ceiling, and it's like, we're gonna just stick him to this one thing. Like if it goes and it's like he's getting hurt or maybe he's lagging behind on one side because he's trying to split his time, sure, and he couldn't carry it over, but at least like give it a year to try it out, in my opinion.
Here's another piece. If anything, the piece that Browns fans should be hung up on is that the Browns haven't featured a wide receiver offensively since Josh Gordon was the wide receiver one for Brandon Weeden. That's how you're going to have to feature Travis Hunter offensively with Joe Flacco, with Kenny Pickett. I don't care who it is. You need to make him the primary option every single time the ball is snapped. It has to be Travis Hunter. And we haven't seen that out of the Browns. We went through, that was kind of what maybe ailed Odell Beckham Jr. a little bit in Cleveland, was that he wasn't the feature piece. And probably Odell didn't realize it at the time that he was too old and washed up to be that featured piece. But I don't really care who's at quarterback. Like the Browns need to find a way to do something that they haven't done in over a decade, and that's feature a primary wide receiver, an explosive offensive playmaker. And you look at some of these Browns drafts, like in the last how many years that we know they haven't had a first-round pick. The last offensive first-round pick was Jedrick Wills. Prior to that, their last offensive player in the first two rounds was Nick Chubb in 2018. In round two. So like it's been a while, and you wonder why the offense is so bad because they haven't put many resources into that side of the football. So it's time for Travis Hunter in Cleveland. And I can't believe like the outrage that I saw yesterday. Like it truly blows my mind.
We're still a while away from talking about a second contract for Travis Hunter. I mean, he hasn't even been drafted yet, but it'll be interesting to see how a contract for a guy potentially playing both ways works, because if you're Travis Hunter, I think you would certainly want that wide receiver tag to overshadow the DB tag in terms of money that you're going to get paid. So I wonder if that will factor in all to what Travis Hunter wants to desire. No, just because wide receivers get paid so much more.
It's going to be
saying,
receiver.
wouldn't they decide based on like when it's time for a theoretical franchise tag? Wouldn't they?
Well, it depends whatever they want. I mean, that's what his agent will surely argue for sure.
Oh, see, I was thinking like the NFL would have to be like an arbiter and be like, oh no, he played more at corner, he goes as a corner, or he played more at receiver, he goes as a receiver.
Nah, I mean, it's just what the Browns and his agent wants to argue.
Wow.
I think we're going to play him so much more on offense. And then he's just going to be the guy that comes in on passing downs to help get us a stop. And that's where we need him more right now. Like, we need that target, like Nick said. We haven't seen an explosive receiver really since like 2013, and this guy's a monster, contested catch guy, great route runner. We need him out there.
It's been 10 years.
Need him out there.
It has been quite a while. All right, Jack, you wanted to talk about 2 quarterbacks, and it seems like Travis Hunter's the pick at 2, and unfortunately, it seems like I'm going to have to learn how to speak Jalen Milroe or Tyler Show.
I think, Nick, and you got it back.
Or maybe Kyle McCord.
Oh, that could be coming up on the show today. Don't you worry.
Could we nip this in the butt right here, right now? Because I was the one that kind of put it out there last night and got a little bit of traction. That Colin Cowherd said Kyle McCord. And I've been saying Kyle McCord. The Browns have done their homework on Kyle McCord. He's 6'3". He has the making of a franchise quarterback in terms of, DNA and makeup. They met with him in Indianapolis. Take that for what you will. They've at least checked in on Kyle McCord. And I think in a world where they wanted to completely punt the ball in the stands and not take a quarterback at all this year, that it come round 5 or 6, where they have 3 6-rounders, and he's still sitting there. I think right now Kyle McCord to Cleveland has more juice than Will Howard to Cleveland. And I know that'll make Buckeye fans kind of throw up in their mouth right now, but it's the reality.
Known Cam Ward beater in playoff, or known Cam Ward beater in big games as well.
In terms of that, though, I'm not super mad at it because it keeps it a little more open. If we pick Milroe, that's a commitment because we're doing it at 33, or we need to move up slightly. With McCord, if we're still trying to draft another guy and then have a competition while not having to say, oh, we put like a 33 on this guy, we got to play him, we don't want to bring anyone in and have him not doing anything, I could see it, but I don't know. I'm kind of a fan of Jalen Milroe right now. I can't lie.
Dude, he is
Jack, go ahead.
A friggin' rocket for an arm, which I was not fully aware of the extent of the rocket up until probably about this time yesterday. Has the best legs of any quarterback in the draft. Like, accuracy is the supposed issue. Going to be around that late first round, early second round. I'm not saying because he's not Lamar Jackson. That's not at all what I'm saying. But, like, he has a little bit of that kind of vibe, though, of, like, the late first rounder, has some project issues based off of, like, pure development, footwork, like that kind of stuff. Like, can he do the little things that are coachable, not really intangibles, but every intangible under the sun is there?
There's just, for me, there's so many holes on this team, especially offensively, that you need to suit up and fix. The offensive line, the running back room. I'm fine with taking a project, and that's probably the smart thing to do, but it's just too rich at 33 for me. If you're going to take a project, I'd prefer a Kyle McCord.
But see, my thing is almost now that, like, I'm starting to doubt how much truly below Milroe is from, like, Shedeur Sanders, for example, in a way. Like, I mean, I'm not saying he's Cam Ward, but, like, in a world where, like, you could even reach or trade back in for Shedeur Sanders, if that's still on the table at all, like, you're kind of taking a not really given, and then you're hoping for, like, your guy in the second round to be, like, your immediate impact guy. Like, whoever's at 33 be the guy who's, like, truly making that rookie year impact. Yeah, and that's when I kind of get nervous because, like,
but
there's a lot of guys.
There's so many guys that can do that. So many guys. If Emeka's there and you don't take him, shame on you.
Over a QB.
Hampton.
Dude, I was going to say a running back.
There's a lot of guys.
I think there's so many good running backs. You could get one in the third round, though, too.
But it's saying, why not? We need so much more young talent on this team. We're so old, and all this people, they're going to be gone. We need that influx of talent like we had in a good 2018 draft. That's why they got so many picks. We got to hit on these top 100 picks that everyone's talking about. If they want to keep them all and take that guy later, I'm cool with it. We got to fill in some of those holes, like Ryan's saying, though. That's where you got to get
Harold Fannin would feed families.
Yeah, like we need another tight end. We need a tackle. Like we gotta plug in some of those gaps. So I wouldn't hate McCord late, but don't try to force him on me though. Like actually make sure he's learning. But
I mean, they don't take him anywhere before the fifth round, right?
What's his projection, Nick?
He's a day 3 guy.
McCord?
Yeah.
The thing with quarterbacks, though, is that it all depends really on how Thursday night goes, and it only takes one team. Yeah. So like say the Browns, want Kyle McCord and they have a 6th round grade on him, but there's buzz that, because all these GMs talk this time of year because they're all trying to work out trades and they're all trying to figure out what each other are doing. So say there's buzz that, the Seattle Seahawks have a 4th round grade on them. Then once we get out of the hundreds, and the Browns feel like their, board is following the way that they want, they could just call their shot right there and take Kyle McCord off. Like that's how Cade York became a 4th round pick. You know, they felt comfortable with how the picks in front of them went. They felt like kicker was a premium position that they needed to improve on. And that's why they took him off the board in the 4th round. So like teams, you know, will talk, and it only takes one team to take him off. So I don't know. Who knows how the day 3 pans out.
Dane Brugler had a 7-round mock. Actually, before we get into this, Jack, was there another quarterback you want to talk about? Or no?
No, it's just McCord and Milrow,
Okay.
the two M's.
I knew it was
Eminem.
Milrow.
Eminem.
No Tyler Shuck.
No Tyler Shuck.
Well, Dane
No, not
Brugler
to
released a
miss
Browns 7-round mock. He's got Travis Hunter going number 2, the expected pick. Number 33, he's got Jackson Dart. I mean, I think that is, of course, would be the pick if he's still there at 33. Nick, before we actually go further in this mock, what are the chances you think Jackson Dart's available at 33?
Decent. I'd definitely say it's a coin flip. I find it interesting that him and Milrow both are attending the combine.
Yeah, who do we think goes first? Who do we think goes first? Milrow or Dart?
Dart.
I think Dart.
Yeah.
I think that here's the reason why is if you're a team in the late 1st round, see Detroit Lions, see Los Angeles Rams, you can take Jackson Dart, who's the youngest quarterback prospect in this class at just 21 years old, and confidently sit him and confidently say that this is Jordan Love. We're not going to see this guy for quite some time. He is not going to play, period. And I think that makes it easier for Jackson Dart to be drafted higher than Milrow, whereas Milrow is a bit older and he has the athleticism that he could fall back on, while the passing might not be so polished. Milrow could get it done on his legs. That's kind of why the Baltimore Ravens made the decision when they did the end of Lamar Jackson's rookie season to just play him. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. And ultimately, I think that's what makes the Browns an intriguing fit for both of those guys. Because if you're Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, I don't think you feel pressure to play Jackson Dart his rookie year, or Jalen Milrow really his rookie year for that matter either, because that's why you picked up Flacco and Pickett. Flacco and Pickett together could mesh for damn near 15 of the 17 games, and maybe you see 2 games of Dart and Milrow at the end. I really think as we get closer, I think that's kind of how it unfolds. I do think the scenario is still alive where it could be Shedeur Sanders, via trade-in, because you guys have to remember the words came out of Andrew Berry's mouth himself, where he said, "I would love both of them at 2." So ultimately, if they take Travis Hunter because they believe he's the more talented player at 2, which you have to understand, you have to imagine that Shedeur Sanders is still their top quarterback on the board, even ahead of Milrow and Dart, despite some of this smoke that's kind of come up in the last couple of weeks here.
I hope nothing.
That long-winded reply there.
I hope nothing more than we get to draft day, the first pick is in, and the Titans shock the world and go Travis Hunter.
Dude, that would just open so many cans of worms in 5 minutes of what would happen.
Did we go Ward there?
When was the last time you thought about Cam Ward as an option for the Cleveland Browns? Months ago?
I just miss drafts where you just absolutely have no idea what's going to happen.
You know what we need? We need a good Laramie Tunsil type bong mask on draft night too. We haven't one of those in 6 or 7 years. Like a good this kid is a we're not going to pick a kid's name because that could go bad. But whoever, right? Bona fide top 10 pick. Oh, bong mask. They're not going in the top 10 anymore. You need a good little story on draft night. Those don't come out anymore.
But the bong mask doesn't matter as much in the year of in the big 2025.
Okay, yeah, but the Bane mask was so funny though.
Hunter Biden crack pipe.
Yeah. Oh well, that would
dig
be
up
bad.
some
But
old tweets if you know what I mean, or something.
Just a little some Mitch Trubisky. I love kissing. You know what?
Yeah, because I think the bong mask, we while we're not federally legal, we're inching closer.
I think a crack pipe would probably have a guy sliding down some NFL draft boards. All right,
what do you think though? Realistically, okay, so say Travis Hunter, the guy's he's insane, right? I mean, reigning Heisman winner. Mm-hmm. How far would he truly fall if something like that happened?
If it was a crack pipe?
Yes.
He might go
you might go on draft.
I'm getting two. It's Travis Hunter. Are you serious?
A crack pipe?
It is illegal though.
Is it illegal?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Did you just ask if crack?
I wasn't sure if there's got to be some medicinal form of something. I don't know.
I'm sure somebody would make an argument. there's
pipe
some
would
sort
be
of
bad.
medicinal.
I mean, they
crack.
let you do some wild shit these days.
They let
so.
people do that in the 70s, though. You might just turn into like a
Yeah,
Ramator
see?
or like a Tyrann Matthew situation or something.
Yeah,
You just-
Pac-Man Jones.
I guess we'll see if the Browns can get Travis Hunter in the 5th round. All right. Dane Brugler, 7th round mock. Travis Hunter, number 2. Jackson Dart, number 33. Number 67, Ozzie Trapilo, tackle. 94, Cy Jones. And they elect to go running back later at 104 with Jordan James out of Oregon. Any thoughts?
I like that. I really like Jordan James out of Oregon, and I don't know that, and by the way, this is from Dane Brugler, Northeast Ohio kid product, made, hometown dude made good, like big time NFL draft, one of the most accurate guys out there in terms of mock drafts and projections. So it's hard to really dislike any of these picks. I like that it's a heavy focus on offense. I like that you snag a tackle there early. Nobody will ever complain in this town about stacking up on offensive line support. And then I do like the running back out of Oregon. So no notes out of me. If they decide to go quarterback early, kind of like what we've all been saying on the show, like then Jackson Dart probably is your quarterback of the future. That's probably the guy that's, getting the reign come 2026. I don't know how I feel about that per se. It might be a little rich for my blood, especially if like Marion Hampton, either of the Ohio State RBs are right there. Like I would much rather do that, but Brugler is one of the best in the biz. So I like it.
All right, Giraffe Talk will only be alive for a few more weeks. The Columbus Blue Jackets are still alive in the NHL playoff hunt. They down the Flyers 3-0. Need a little bit of help today and another win. We'll talk about that when we get back on the Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Big Factor. Wrapping it up here on Wednesday. Ryan Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone, Rob Watson. The Columbus Blue Jackets playoff hopes are still alive. They beat the Flyers 3-0. They need a little bit of help today, Jack, and they need to get another win if they want to get in the playoffs. But a good day for Blue Jackets faithful.
Yeah, and it was the guys who we actually talked about yesterday on the show that needed to get it done for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and that is the Michigan men, Adam Fantilli and Kent Johnson. Both scored a goal last night. Dante Fabro, the defenseman, had the third one. But kind of a really fun story to talk about for the few Cleveland Monsters, the few and proud Cleveland Monsters fans tuning into the Big Factor right now. Jet Greaves was your goaltender for a couple of years. Struggled a little bit actually when he got to Cleveland a couple years ago. I was actually at his first start in Cleveland. And JJ Paterka, who's now on the Sabres, had a hat trick against him. So that was kind of funny. But to watch his development, got up a little bit with them last year, had a shutout, I think his second start, has been dominating for them since coming back, getting called back up a couple weeks ago. He's been like the main, I don't want to say like driving force of this late playoff push, but yeah, he's 4-0 since he got called back up. Like, you can't really ask much more from a young goalie. So that could be a fun story to watch. And like, again, we talked about it yesterday, but like with everything that happened with Johnny Gaudreau, like that would just be not a cool Cleveland or Ohio sports story. Like they will have the country behind them. So that would be a really cool, like maybe opportunity for Cleveland fans to get in on hockey a little bit because like everyone and their mother is pulling for the Blue Jackets.
All right. Good luck to the Blue Jackets. Before we wrap up this show, we're going to end on this chapter from the Book of Loeb, Max Loeb.
Yeah, he was
Co-host
asking about this.
Of Honor of the Land wanted us to grill him. He gave his top 5 Browns game day spots. We'll end the show on this, give our thoughts. He says, number 1, map room, which we were at yesterday, actually. Number 2, the stadium itself.
Me and Jack went to map room twice.
Yeah, we did a doubleheader.
Did you
Yeah, we
guys?
did a doubleheader.
Nice. Did you win both games? I know we won the first game.
Yeah, honestly, Nick, I thought we won the second game too.
I think so too. Yeah.
Little day night
Fun
doubleheader
time-
sweep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, fun time had by all.
Number 3A, he has Chef Zay's RV. 3B is the Muni lot, and number 5 is around the corner. Honorable mentions at home and West 6th. He says rip.
Around
Yeah.
okay. But let me start off.
See?
Max Loeb, A+ pick putting Map Room up there. Fun place to go on a Cleveland Browns game day. I got a bone to pick with Around the Corner reaching the top 5 though.
What is Around the Corner?
So Around the Corner is a
ATC's
bar
in
in Lakewood.
Yes, that's what I thought. Lakewood, yeah.
You can't breathe in there. Like you are elbow to elbow from the second you walk in there, no matter the day of the week. They do have crab races, which are very fun. I am 1-0 in my crab racing career. They're legal or they're sanctioned, so we can say that on the big factor.
Does it have more integrity than the hot dog derby race?
Dude, oh, absolutely it does. They just they take like a big bucket, right? And it's like a circular table. And you you go around before and they all have like mine had a Superman logo on his shell, right? And you're like, okay, I want Superman or whatever, right? So then you got to remember who you got. And then they just dump him in the middle and they just whoever gets to the outside ring first wins. So that is your history lesson on Around the Corner for the day. But Max Loeb, for the kind of respectable football man that you are, to pick a Buffalo Bills backers bar as one of your top 5 places on Cleveland Browns game day? Huh?
Is that Map Room?
Huh? No, Around the Corner.
Oh,
You're picking a Bills backers bar? No, not on a Cleveland Browns game day. Have not been to Chef Zay's tailgating RV. Would love to make an appearance in the future if that's in the cards so I can rank that place, but love Map Room, guys.
Oh, this year we'll definitely be in Chef Zay's RV.
What was this 2 again?
Any other gripes? Number 1, Map Room. Number 2, the stadium itself. Number 3A, Chef Zay's RV. 3B, Muni Lot. 5 Around the Corner.
Dude, you got the
stadium's not one, man. I don't know how it could be on the list and not be one. I'm a little confused on that.
Well, I was under the guise that this was a pregame tailgating.
Yeah, like
my number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. How about watching the game? Like, what about at home?
Yes.
That was an honorable mention, Nick. That was an honorable mention.
Dude, ever since high definition televisions came out, there's no experience quite like watching in the NFL on your couch with a heated blanket with Twitter pulled up. That's how you take in the full game day experience. Like maybe this is me being like the oldest person on the show, like even debating this with Lowe, but like the last thing that I want to do on a Browns game day is have some fat drunk fan bumping into me, like as I'm trying to watch the game and like take in what's happening. Like none of these places, sans like the stadium, I guess, like maybe Chef Zay's RV. Like, what about like the lounge at Burke? I guess is fine. For me, there's nothing better than at home, and I can't believe that wasn't like higher on the list.
Mr. Irrelevant is Barley House. That's all I can provide you.
That's undrafted.
I think
yeah.
that's
it's a UDFA. It could be
slander on the stadium though, Nick. I mean, I was there. Like you'll never forget those moments. That's why you'll have the days where it's bad, like where a fan in your aisle throws up or something, and it it ruins the day. But like you'll never forget moments. Like I was there when Baker made his debut. Like those moments, like the stadium, if it's gonna be on the list, is one in my opinion.
What's your guys' favorite in-person moment you were at for a sporting event? I don't think we ever talked about this on the Big Factor.
Cavs finals, game 3, Dellavedova.
Mine was Guardians when they broke the winning streak, 2017.
That man, all good ones going around. It's hard not to have Baker's debut. I was also at the random. This is a really random, obscure one, but it's one of my favorites. When Kyrie put up like a 50 ball against the Spurs.
I remember that
with no LeBron. I was at that one, and it was just like randomly a really fun game because Kyrie just went nuclear. I was at probably opening night 2017 for the Cavs, where it was World Series game 1 across the street. The Cavs got their rings, is up there with Baker's debut for me.
Honorable mentions for me. I was at the first game when LeBron came back versus the Knicks, even though I think we lost. And then 2009, I think Eastern Conference Finals, LeBron game winner. It's probably the loudest thing I've ever heard was when he hit the 3 versus the Magic.
Yeah, hugged Andy.
Jack?
I close this off. Probably first one I can really remember. I go 07 ALDS against the Yankees. We're talking Jeter. We're talking A-Rod. We're talking J-Lou 50 on the bump.
Yeah.
Was at that game. Travis Hafner, the buggy night, the midgets come out, knocks one off of Jabba Chamberlain into center field. Can't ask for more than that, brother.
All right, well, shout out Max Loeb, a chapter in the Book of Loeb.
And Jensen
Appreciate
Lewis.
that. Shout out JLou50 as always. All right, guys, we got to head out of here before Bruce Dredden kills me. We'll be back. Actually, guys, we will not be back tomorrow. We'll actually be back Monday.
Yeah, we're going on spring break.
We've got some
Spring
exciting
break.
stuff going on.
Cabo.
Kind of got to move the schedule around. So stay tuned for all those announcements. But we will be back Monday. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Until then, enjoy the rest of this week and enjoy the weekend. See ya.